Guys, welcome back to another episode. If you are here for an unbiased, no BS kind of review and breakdown of modern entertainment and just really great movies and films series, you are in the right place. If you have not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and make sure you stay to the end. Liam, what are we reviewing today?
We're going over Kaos, the modern take of Greek mythology.
Heck yeah. Netflix dove into another series, and I have to say on this one, unlike some that have come out recently, this one did not disappoint. New take on some olds, very old. But yeah, I'd love to hear, man. Like, what were your thoughts on Kaos? The story itself, what did you think?
So I enjoyed most every aspect of this. To me, it felt, was it Thor, Love and Thunder?
You got Thor, Love and Thunder vibes from this?
Just the reason why I think Jeff Goldblum was brought in. That's all. The way, because it was a very similar character he played there, was it not?
Oh, you're thinking of Ragnarok, not Love and Thunder.
Okay, Ragnarok then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, okay, similar. Yeah, similar enough. Yeah, similar enough.
It's so close.
Yeah. I mean, the way they act, I guess you could say that for sure.
Yeah, it's like he played the same character, essentially.
A little bit more spiteful, a little bit more selfish, a little bit, yeah. I mean, Jeff Goldblum plays that character very well. I think he did a great job with playing a new like a more selfish, more what's the word I'm looking for? Paranoid version of the character. And I thought that, Jeff Goldblum just being kind of funny and like off the wall and kind of, crazy naturally played really to that part really well. Honestly, think that he was probably one of the stars of the entire series, like his performance. You said that it very much reminded you of, I'm trying to remember what the character's name that runs that like planet in Marvel. So you get Grandmaster vibes from Jeff Goldblum compared to his character as Zeus, and I can totally see what you mean. Like the vibes are very similar. I think because of the nature of how Zeus gets his powers inside of this particular universe, his paranoia is like way more through the roof, and he's definitely way more prone to violence and like lashing out than maybe the Grandmaster is when we meet him. He's more of like a whimsical, like I just want to have fun and just party all the time kind of guy, where Zeus is a little bit more like power hungry, right? But yeah, I totally can see the correlation between the two characters, and I think Jeff Goldblum kind of like stole the show a little bit with his interpretation of Zeus.
I do too. It reminded me of like a retirement home.
Yeah, but yeah, I got those vibes.
It's the attitude, the rigid, stuck in your ways kind of vibe.
Isn't that just old people?
Yeah, I guess I'm just associating based on what my experience is.
Got it. Because to me, I got the same vibe, but I just got like retirement home, like where people who have basically lived their lives but have now been retired to a facility kind of thing. I got those vibes as well. I thought also for this particular show that the use of Prometheus as the narrator and allowing him to like break the fourth wall and kind of share with us behind the scenes like why that universe works the way it does and why certain characters are the way they are in certain situations. I think that helped with laying out a true storyline and something to follow. Then I thought it was great. What was your take on it?
Prometheus?
Like his ability to narrate, break the fourth wall, and use him to kind of really weave that story for us.
Well, I always enjoy that, but one specific reason I enjoyed it in this case was when he got it wrong. He's like,
he got it wrong.
Well, the fact that he is not all-knowing about what's going on, he's just narrating the plans, and it's like, oops, I had that didn't go the way I wanted it to go type thing.
Yeah. Well, I don't think at any point, maybe when we first start watching it, there's you think that Prometheus has all the knowledge. But as the episodes play out, you kind of realize that he's just going off what the fates told him, right? The fates told him he had to kill his lover. The fates told him that this was going to happen. So he just trusted in the fact that this was like what his fate was, what the prophecy was going to happen. So I don't think he just trusted. I don't think he had all the answers. He was just playing the parts he was given.
I think he was just at point of desperation also that was his only option. Like this was his Hail Mary.
Yeah.
And he was just grateful and happy that it played out the way it did.
Oh, 100%, yeah. I don't think anyone, even Prometheus himself, was like fully believing that it could really happen. And then because when it does happen, he's like, oh, okay, cool. But when you're stuck to the side of a wall, having your liver picked out every day, I guess anything looks better, right? So you can believe in that. But I thought that was cool. I thought the way that they become immortal was very interesting compared to traditional Greek mythology, where they're born gods and then kill their Titan father and become the masters of Olympus and all of that. But this one, it's same. They still hinted to him killing his father, and they still hinted to like the traditional Greek mythology, but then they also reveal that the true source of their immortality comes from the souls that they drink through the water, right? And so I think that's really cool. That was an interesting take on it.
Was that the same in Greek mythology? I don't recall the water being the reason.
No, it wasn't. That's a brand new.
Because I thought it was the fruit, right?
No, they're in Greek mythology. They are just gods. They're not gifted that ability. They are born that way, and their power comes from the belief of their followers.
But they also had one of the gods that had the trees that kept everyone going. That's where I
do recall what you're talking about.
Christian religion kind of borrowed from that.
But I don't think it gave them immortality. Let's look it up.
Because the Christian religion borrowed from Greek mythology with the whole Adam and Eve apple thing.
Maybe you're right. Because it says the Greek mythology, the gods lived on a diet of ambrosia and nectar, food and beverages symbolizing their divine nature and bestowing immortality.
So I was right about that?
So it's mixed, because it says Greek gods often are depicted consuming ambrosia, which is giving them immortality. But then they also say here that, like all gods, they were born immortal. So it's like
different interpretations, I guess.
If you go into like the Reddits and stuff like that and go deeper into like conversations that people are having, a lot of people agree with you. Greek gods were not born immortal from birth, that they gained it once consuming ambrosia, and once they did, they became immortal.
Yeah, that was my understanding, was it's from the fruit, or something that they consumed. Imagine this, essentially, the gods in this are soul vampires.
Soul vampires. Interesting.
Right? Because the water is from the souls that they have to consume to stay alive and young.
Yeah.
They're vampires.
Oh, I don't know. Vampires drink blood, so I think there's something else that consumes souls.
Well,
like a succubus.
But in...
I get what you're trying to say, yes.
Well, there are psychic vampires also, though, right? That feed off the energy of people.
Those are called succubus, not vampires.
Still psychic vampires, because it's vampiric in nature. It's just what they're consuming is different.
Well, no, because a vampire is undead and cannot be in sunlight, has to consume blood to survive. Like, there's specifics that make it a vampire. Mm-hmm. And then there's succubus, which are not undead, but live off of the energy of people, especially the sexual energy of people.
I think a lost girl.
She is a succubus, or at least half succubus.
I guess you're coming down the rabbit hole with us.
So there's soul eaters, that's what they're called. It's just a soul eater. Yeah, mythical creatures that eat souls, soul eaters. From Egyptian, Amet is a specific demon that ate souls, but yeah, there's soul eaters. But anyway, rabbit hole, we're back. Yeah, so I was wrong. So Greek mythology, Zeus was born mortal. He gets immortality after he overthrows his father, but traditionally, Greek gods get their immortality from the ambrosia, which is ambrosia and nectar is what they eat. So you were absolutely correct, brother. So when I was watching Kaos, I was looking at it from the aspect that like Zeus was already immortal, so my memory was just not right. And so I was like, oh, this is a very different take on it. But now that I'm up to date again with the correct information, I'm looking at it like, oh, so it's a unique spin. So they consume souls and water, that makes them immortal, but it's still under the same line of they had to consume something. So interesting. So what was your take on only having like 4 or 5 gods and not having, because there's a lot more gods in the pantheon, right? Yeah. So what was your take on limiting the amount of gods we see? And do you think maybe they're just waiting for later seasons to really bring them in?
I definitely think they're going to bring them in later. It can't be strictly about them, but this is just the storyline of the series. Like, it was the prophecy that was the specific story. That's what it was about. Maybe the other gods were just not part of this prophecy yet. I did find Medusa's character quite cool.
Interesting, yeah.
I liked how she wrapped up and how she was just a salty person. She was just like almost like a retail worker or minimum wage type worker, just a cog in the machine type thing.
Yeah, she reminded me of like a government worker or like a social worker, someone who's just like stuck working with people who don't want to help themselves, and she hates it, right?
Yes.
That kind of job, yeah. No, I thought it was really cool how they tied in certain elements, like the baby Cerberuses, like the three-headed dogs, were part of like their, customs crew basically. They tied in the Minotaur with the sun, even though it wasn't a real Minotaur, a half man, half bull, but they still tied it in. The Fates, the Furies. I thought the Furies were a cool take, just like a bunch of bike riding badasses just riding around, making you go crazy. I think that there were hints at other gods that I think I would have liked to have seen more, but I also, towards the end, when I saw how season 2 ended and the call that Hera makes, season 1 ended, sorry, and the call that Hera makes to one of her sons, she mentions both of them, but actually calls the second one, that's lining up for a massive kind of battle or war. I mean, he's a god of war, right? And so lining up for something pretty crazy in season 2 with that. So I'm excited with that part. So we will see more gods, but I was interested in what you thought on like why they chose like a limited pantheon instead of giving us more.
I strictly think it was just because this is what the story was, and it's opening up for full world saga of the Greek pantheon. Mm-hmm. But this is just the first piece of that puzzle.
Yeah.
That's what I got from it. Now, if they keep the show going, Netflix is notorious for killing off good shows, especially ones that don't line up with everyone's happiness and beliefs and don't challenge the way people think.
Yeah.
So as long as this sticks around, I think we're in for a whole bunch of really good seasons, because there are so many fun directions they can go with this.
Yeah. I wish Prime would have launched it. They'd have no problems breaking those barriers.
Yeah.
I love a lot of their shows. But anyway, I think that even though it was a limited pantheon, the interpretation of like the core three, Hades, Poseidon, Zeus, the brothers, was great. I thought they picked great actors to portray them. I thought if I had one gripe, it's that Poseidon himself, like, is one of the most. He controls all of the sea. He's the master of horses. He's got all this stuff going for him. And he was just like a love-struck puppy the entire season, instead of like laying some wrath down or even standing up to his brother a little bit, which Hades, ultimately got a licking for doing. But, Hades was always like the weaker, fragile one. And that's, they kept him in the underworld. But he's powerful too,
yes.
which I'm sure we're going to see him step into in season 2. But what was your thought on Poseidon kind of being just like a love-struck puppy and not like this powerful god of the sea?
First off, I have to say this, yeah, I know, but Hades was completely shocked by what had to. But Poseidon, I love him as a character, or the actor who portrays him. He's a great actor.
Cliff Curtis, something like that?
Yeah, he's Aborigine.
Yeah, he's like Hawaiian, native.
No,
no,
like native Australian.
Is he?
Yeah.
I thought, okay, I'm gonna look him up.
That's what
because he's got, and maybe obviously because he was the god of the ocean. That's probably why I'm attaching him to that right now, because of all the tattoos he had in that role. But you could absolutely be right. I do also enjoy him. Keep going.
So he was falling in love. Like, love was a huge part of this whole story. So the woman, the girl married to the singer, she's falling out of love. Everyone else is falling in love or already in love, and the things that they're doing for the choice of love. And so much so that his nephew, Zeus's son, is longing for that the whole time. Is like, I want what you guys have. I want this love of something. And he's just looking for his purpose. And I think they're interchanging love and purpose quite a lot in the series. That's what I was seeing from that. But we've all had love and heartache, right, in this life, and they're just showing Poseidon going through his little puppy dog phase right now, where he doesn't want to do wrong. He'll self-sacrifice in the name of love for Hera. And we're just at a small little piece of his life. And so I was perfectly fine with that. You'd restrain yourself for the love of your life too, right? So
Sure. Yeah. No, I think I also growing up always was like, dang, like favored Poseidon of all the gods, right? Like that was like, I'm like, he's cool. He is like, wow, Lord of the Sea. That's really awesome. Masters of the Seas. But you were right. He is from New Zealand and he is from Maori descent?
he's Maori.
Maori descent. So yes, I was just associating him with his current character. So you are correct yet again, sir. No, I thought this was really great. I thought their prediction, like not prediction, but what's what I'm looking for. The way that they showed us the underworld.
The picture of the
The way they showed us the underworld in black and white kind of broke it up, let us know that we were no longer in the plane of the living. I thought that was really smart and easy for us to kind of know the difference of where we were very quickly. I just thought it was really great. What were some of the things that you took away?
So when they were in the underworld, you talk about in the window in the frame.
Yeah, all of that down there.
It was very interesting that everyone just was frozen. Like Medusa had cast her, or they saw the snakes on her head type thing. That's the whole piece that I got from seeing them in there is they created this frame, right?
Yeah.
That pulls people out of regular circulation so that they can siphon their power. So I think Medusa has more of a role in it than they're letting on right now. Because look at them, once they're in there, they freeze.
Yeah.
Almost like they turn to a statue like Medusa does. And so I think she's in the role that she's in because she doesn't like the part that she's forced to play.
Or had played in the past.
Yes.
Yeah, I could see that. Could be why she's so
Jaded
and just like miserable looking all the time. Is because she was tricked or forced into doing something that's now at the detriment of thousands of souls. And that's not what she wanted.
I think it's way more than thousands.
Yeah, I mean, based on the natural catastrophes that Zeus started bringing to the world so they would, worship them again, he overloaded the underworld. The frame couldn't handle it, which is one of the main reasons why Hades got zapped, because he said something about it. Yeah, no, I could see that. That's an interesting theory. What do you guys think? Do you think that Medusa is salty because she had something to do with the frame, and that's why they look like that? That's an interesting theory, brother.
That's the take I got. 'Cause
Yeah.
as soon as they're in it, they just crack and freeze.
No, it very much looked like...
It's like the terracotta army. And once they got in there,
I always thought that was cool.
the terracotta army. Yeah, me too.
I liked how they brought it to life in several different movies as like a stone army. That's pretty cool stuff. So Chaos Season 1 is a depiction of the Greek pantheon. We get to see about 6 of them, the actual gods themselves. So we've got Zeus, we've got the top 3, like the core 3 brothers, so Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades. Then we get Zeus's wife Hera. We get Hades' wife Persephone. We've got Dionysus. And I think that's really all we see on screen as far as gods go. And then we also have fates and furies and other things tied in. Prometheus, is Prometheus technically a god? Was he a god?
I believe so, or at least a demigod.
I think he was a demigod, right? I don't think he was. Maybe he was. And then he because I know he gives the knowledge of fire to man. Zeus gets mad at him for that, and then ultimately punishes him.
Yeah, he's a god.
Okay, so he was a full-on god. So you get to see Prometheus is
One of the titans.
interesting. I got a lot of updating to do on my Greek mythology. Jesus.
Yeah, he's a second generation titan.
Okay. And then Kronos is the dad who is the titan that they overthrow. But we don't see him, we just hear about him. What's the other Prometheus' lover's name? It starts with a K.
You're asking me names?
I'm trying to remember it.
So one of the biggest reasons I loved Prometheus growing up, and one of my characters on Diablo is Prometheus.
You giving people fire?
No, he is essentially Loki. He's a trickster.
Karen.
Yes, Karen.
CH, not K.
Yeah.
So he's a trickster, sorry. Prometheus.
Yes, Prometheus is a trickster.
Yeah.
That's why I've always enjoyed him. I've enjoyed Loki, Prometheus. I've always enjoyed.
I could see that for you. Makes sense. Yeah, so, we get to see quite a few of, just very well-known figures, whether they're gods or not, from Greek mythology. I think that the storyline and the prophecy and the way that they're portraying it really is unique and something that definitely caught my attention and kept it. I found myself wanting to finish the whole series, even though there were certain spots where, you know, the kids were home, so I had to pause it. A couple of Hera scenes in there that were a little explicit, you know, but that was cool. Either way, we had to kind of work our family time around that. So, but it was good to watch. Erin even enjoyed it. So like, she watched it. She predicted the Minotaur was going to be the brother before it ever happened. I was like, dang girl, look at you go.
Yeah, I knew that coming.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm excited for season 2. Anything else you want to share on Kaos? Kaos was a great watch. Definitely kept my attention. Character arcs, stories, all great. Definitely a fresh take on some very well-known Greek mythology, and definitely put a different spin on some gender roles and some ways that we interpret things. And I thought it was just a really great watch. So, highly recommend you check it out. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel and doing all the things that are necessary. We will let you know in the next video. Speaking of next videos, go and check out our top watch video on another Netflix series that you may have already been watching yourself, and get the behind the scenes look on a review there too. But until then, guys, go check it out, and we'll see you on that next video.
Find the strength hiding in each battle scar. You're not who you were, you've already come far.